The phone shattered the silence of our apartment, like a gunshot in the dead of night. I jolted awake, heart pounding against my ribs. The sheets tangled around my legs like restraints. Mark was already fumbling for his cell on the nightstand, his silhouette rigid in the faint glow from the screen. "Hello?" His voice was thick with sleep, but it sharpened instantly. The caller's words crackled through the speaker, loud enough for me to hear in the hush. "Mr. Reynolds? This is St. Mary's Hospital. Your wife has just given birth to a healthy baby girl, but there were complications during delivery. She's in the ICU now, stable but critical. We need you here as soon as possible. Wife?" The word hung in the air like smoke from a fire I couldn't see. Mark didn't have a wife. We'd been together for 4 years, engaged for 1, sharing this cramped Brooklyn loft with its creaky floors and the faint scent of his cologne mixed with my lavender candles. I sat up, the cool air prickling my skin, waiting for him to laugh it off as a wrong number. But he didn't. His face drained of color under the phone's blue light, eyes wide with something raw. Fear? Guilt? "I'll be there in 20 minutes, he muttered, voice steady but clipped, like he was sealing a business deal. He hung up and swung his legs out of bed, yanking open the dresser drawer with a force that made the wood groan. "Mark? What the hell was that?" My voice trembled, a mix of confusion, and that prickling unease I'd felt before, like when he'd vanished for late meetings that stretched into weekends. He paused, back to me, shoulders tense under his faded T-shirt. "It's a mistake. Probably for someone else. But I have to check it out." His words rushed out, too quick, too rehearsed. He pulled on jeans, the zipper's rasp echoing like an accusation. I watched him, my mind spinning, rationalizing like always. Maybe it was a client in trouble, some corporate mess he couldn't explain. He was a salesman, always on the road, closing deals in sleek conference rooms that smelled of coffee and ambition. But wife? Birth? ICU? The pieces didn't fit, yet his urgency screamed they did. He grabbed his keys from the hook by the door, the metal jangling like alarm bells. "Go back to sleep, Lena. I'll sort and be back before dawn." His kiss on my forehead was perfunctory, lips cool and distant. The door clicked shut behind him, leaving me in the suffocating quiet. Sleep? Impossible. My chest tightened, a vice of doubt squeezing out the air. I'd ignored the signs before, the unexplained hotel receipts tucked in his wallet, the way he'd silence his phone during dinners, murmuring work stuff, with that charming smile that once made me melt. Was I paranoid? Or had I been blind, weaving excuses around his absences like a web to trap my own fears? I dressed in the dark, heart racing as I slipped into sneakers that squelched on the rain-slicked sidewalk outside. The city night was alive with distant sirens and the patter of drizzle on umbrellas, but it felt oppressive, the streetlights casting long shadows that mirrored my growing dread. I hailed a cab, the vinyl seat sticky under my thighs, and gave the driver St. Mary's address, my voice barely above a whisper. What if this was nothing? What if I was a crazy fiancée stalking her partner over a prank call? But deep down a whisper gnawed. What if it's everything? The hospital lobby assaulted my senses, harsh fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, the sharp tang of antiseptic mingling with stale coffee from a vending machine. Nurses in scrubs hurried past, their footsteps echoing on linoleum floors that gleamed unnaturally white. I lingered by the elevators, scanning for Mark's familiar broad shoulders. There, rushing toward the ICU wing, his coat dripping rainwater, face etched with lines I'd never seen. I followed at a distance, my pulse thundering in my ears, ducking behind a corner as he approached the desk. "I'm here for my wife, Elena Reynolds," he said to the nurse, voice low but firm. "Elena?" My name was Lena, short for Helena, but close enough to twist a knife. The nurse nodded, checking a clipboard. "Room 412. She's resting, but the baby's in NICU. You can see her first." Mark's hand trembled as he signed something, a vulnerability cracking through his polished exterior. He disappeared down the hall, and I waited, breath shallow, before slipping after him. Peering through the glass panel of the door, the scene unfolded like a nightmare in slow motion. A woman in the bed, pale and hooked to monitors beeping rhythmically, her dark hair fanned on the pillow. She looked exhausted, beautiful in a fragile way, and when Mark leaned over her, Brushing a strand from her face, his whisper carried. I'm here, love. How's our girl? Our girl. The word slammed into me, shattering the fragile denial I'd clung to. He didn't see me, too absorbed in her, but I saw everything. The tenderness in his touch, the guilt flickering in his eyes as he glanced at the door. Flashbacks hit like shards. The business trip to Chicago last month, when he returned with a faint scent of unfamiliar perfume. The locked drawer in his desk I'd never questioned. The way he'd hesitate before saying, I love you, as if weighing the cost. Anger surged, hot and bitter, mixing with a grief that hollowed me out. How long? Why? Was I the fool, the side piece in his carefully compartmentalized life? I'd backed away, legs numb, colliding with a cart that clattered loudly. Mark's head snapped up, eyes meeting mine through glass. Panic flashed across his face, raw and unfiltered. He stepped out, closing the door softly behind him. Lena, what are you doing here? His voice cracked, the salesman facade crumbling. Who is she, Mark? I demanded, my whisper fierce, tears burning my eyes. The hallway felt smaller, the air thick with unspoken lies. He glanced back at the room, then at me, conflict twisting his features. She's my wife. We've been married 6 years. You were supposed to be a fresh start. I thought I could leave it all, but then the baby... His words trailed off, laced with regret, but not enough. Guilt etched his brow, but so did defiance, like he believed his divided heart justified the deception. A fresh start? The betrayal sank in, layers peeling back. The proposal last year. Ring on my finger, a symbol of his fractured loyalty. Love twisted into something ugly. Denial crumbling under the weight of truth. You have a daughter. I choked out the word foreign, painful. He reached for me, but I recoiled, the touch that once comforted now repulsive. I never meant to hurt you. It just happened. Elena was distant. Work consumed me. You made me feel alive again. His excuses rang hollow, motivations laid bare. Not a monster, but a man too weak to choose, chasing thrills at the cost of trust. Anger boiled over, but beneath it, heartbreak pulsed. Memories of lazy Sundays, whispered promises, all tainted now. I turned away, the hospital's sterile chill seeping into my bones, but he grabbed my arm. Wait, we can fix this. The twist came then, sharp as a blade. From the room, Elena's weak voice called, Mark? Is that her? The one from the photos on your phone. He'd shown her, bragged, or warned. The realization hit. I wasn't the only betrayed one. She knew or suspected, her eyes meeting mine to the door with shared sorrow that pierced deeper than his lies. In that moment, the web unraveled. 2 women, 1 man, a newborn caught in the wreckage. Shattered trust echoed in triplicate. I wrenched free, fleeing into the rain-swept night. The city's blur matching my turmoil. Love, once an anchor, now a storm, confusion yielding to resolve. He'd chase illusion forever, but I'd rebuild from the ruins, one fractured heartbeat at a time.